Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. I'm just showing you another scan I'm doing on my database as well as Yahoo Finance to generate some very interesting gems, as I like to call them. So this is typically the AK-47 system in action. I have an entire video on YouTube that runs this whole process over 3 hours. It can take 2 to 3 hours to run, but it will save you a boatload of time. So let me just get rid of this. So again, this is my second scan since I ran last Friday. So last Friday, I ran my first scan just on, forgive if there's any bizarre plots that show up, that's the system running. Anyways, right now, we're looking at the first scan from Friday. I think it was June 15th or whenever that was. These are some of the interesting stocks that look really good in terms of, I'm just judging it as strictly on EPS. Okay, so what I've done is the system will go in, scan particular sectors of interest, and then I'll pick out, or actually I'll scan the whole sector. Now, out of that, I manually created this worksheet, which I'll make available. These are what I would consider hot stocks or worthy to research and verify as stock picks. This is generated by a system. I've got nothing to do with any of these companies, just so you know. I don't want to be caught up in any insider trading kind of BS because, well, I try to be, well, I'm doing it, being transparent as we speak. All right, so you can generally see the sectors that look really considered hot. As I said, I'm using EPS as the only gauge really, and then out of this there'll be other factors that I may use to indicate are they worth pursuing in terms of trading. So here's some of the sectors we have. The apparel, not too good, but I'll go in through each sector. We have department stores, electronics, healthcare, medical, money, personal product, property and casualty, which is, I think this looks like the hottest one. Railroad, and specialty chemicals. Now I'm going to be running another scan as I just showed you. I'm going to go through the same process. As I said, I'm going to be going through these individually. Out of that, you may be able to determine what are hot sectors from an ETF point of view. Hopefully people have seen my postings on ETF to automate ETFs. Acquiring the data is not easy. I'm going to have to wait it out until I get access to Interactive Brokers as a broker to be able to automate those asset classes, specifically, as I said, for ETF. So for now, I just got to do it from a human perspective, but for now, I figure the way I'm scanning it, it can scan indices and mutual funds, and I'll scan those markets and say, okay, why don't we research some particular ETFs for certain sectors? So in this case, property and casualty insurance. So as I said, I'm using my EPS current, next, and next year as the best ones to pick, because these are what my system would pick as the longs for those particular sectors. So we'll pick the ones that have the best guidance from the company itself, and some of them look pretty valid. So for instance, here's an example of Macy's. Okay, Macy's would be considered a long in department stores, so we're talking now specifically for the consumer. It's not that hot. I mean, it's a little bit of an uptick on the consumer sentiment, so if that's how it's reflected for department stores, that's not much growth. So I'm not really interested in that type of growth. But when you look at asset management, this company called Affiliated Management under asset management sector, their outlook is almost not double, but it's pretty good for the next quarter, next year. So that's something you might want to look at. So I definitely consider asset management as an ETF to look at. Also, there's a few other ones. This one for, I think it's military or defensive. But when you look at both Alliant and Lockheed, their guidance isn't too bad. It's not bad, okay? So that's something worth looking into as well, especially for these two, for Lockheed and Alliant. Now, when you come into companies like for electronic equipment, you have two companies that kind of stand out. Apple, of course, which is not doing too bad, so their guidance isn't too bad. It's a bit of a nice uptick. Same with this other company called Harman. They make stereos, and Harman Kardon. They like a lot of for car stereos and whatever. I'm no expert in that, but that's a company worth looking into as well. Another one that might be worthwhile is healthcare plans. Humana, not too bad. But here's one I wanted to highlight that's not even worth looking at. Industrial equipment. This is the best one. HDS. So you know, comparatively to other sectors, why would you want to trade this one? It's kind of like a mediocre play. I wouldn't even touch it. I'd be only focusing on the top performers. Now this one looks pretty good too. Category life insurance, Prudential, but there's not a lot in there that says a lot of companies feel good within the sector. This is the only one that was worth investigating. So it's not bad. And then you get this one, medical instruments. This is kind of a strange one because they're pretty good, really good for next quarter, and it just kind of tails off. So there's not much growth there. But here's one that you definitely don't want to trade. We have our EPS, but no guidance beyond that. That's the current. So a company that does that, I'm not going to play it. As you can see, there's lots of options. I haven't even hit the best one yet, which I will in a minute. This one's not bad for medical laboratory. Mettler, Toledo. This one's not bad as well for Money Center. And same with the PNC. But Credit Corp might be a better one to play. Then we have Personal Care, Energizer, not bad. But here's a hot sector you definitely want to pay attention to. It's a big sector, but look at the growth, and actually Berkshire Hathaway is in this sector as well. But these ones are actually better because Berkshire doesn't give out guidance beyond next quarter and next year. I'm not saying they're not bad, but from a confidence point of view, you can see the performance is pretty good moving into the next quarter and next year. And you can probably use these four companies, Merkle, Allegheny, White Mountain Insurance, and maybe Everest as well. So those are pretty hot sectors to be in. So maybe there's some growth there, worthy to investigate, and specifically for property and casual casualty insurance. Might be an ETF sector to investigate. But this, out of the lot, this is the best one. I mentioned this before last week. The guidance for CP, Canadian Pacific, is not bad. From my point of view, that's something worthy, being in Canada. Another one, Railroad. This one looks pretty good too. NVR. Actually, that might be a mistake. But this company called NVR, their guidance isn't too bad either. In terms of chemical, this one looks really good. This Newmarket Corporation. See, the growth is not bad. So these are the hot stocks that I'm currently going to investigate, and maybe some ETF ideas may come out of this. But this is one of the approaches I may consider moving forward with the current execution of this system that I've got, the AK-47. It's fine and good, but I still need to generate. Would be nice to generate an automated way to generate this spreadsheet, because when you look at it from an automated to a human perspective, this took an hour to do. Just this one spreadsheet. I'll make it available, but I'd like to be able to compile it and do it in a more intelligent way and automate this separate spreadsheet. And again, this is just the U.S. I could focus on Canada as well, because I am trading with the RBC Direct Investment. They only give me only stocks. I pretty well can get access to all the ETFs and some options, but the underlying can only be stock. That's my only options I can trade on. So as a result, in my tests with Canada, it doesn't give out the vast amount of choices and selection you would get with the U.S. But this is the U.S. But you can see it's pretty good. But you can see the hot performance in this property and casualty sector, insurance sector, which is pretty good. So I'm going to investigate it further and see where it goes. I'll put up some more videos on that, and probably start obviously using other indicators as well. Obviously the statistics on the mean standard deviation, volume, and skewness. I believe this is actually volatility. Sorry about that. And then the ATR, average true range. And another big factor you always got to consider is your market cap. You don't want to be involved in small companies that are not at least $1 billion, just from a liquidity point of view. You do have some name brand companies in here, but I find it quite interesting when it generates, and I'll do another separate report for the second scan I'm currently running, which I just showed you earlier as one example. Okay.